I am really excited I've got a remarkable entrepreneur who is going to help each and every one of us build a great life. So, one of the things as entrepreneurs, what we all want to do in a free market, capital market, is we want to create tremendous value for our clients in our own enlightened self-interest so we can build a great business, but to support a great quality of life. And one of the things, and let me just give you a couple of statistics here real quick, is when we do the research, we find that just about all of us as business owners want to be more wealthy. And, it's not about greed that we're talking about. What we want to do is we want to do it so that we can go ahead and really have the opportunity to help our families, the people we care about, and to go ahead and the causes that we have. Now, here's a challenge. We're all so busy doing it. We're building these great businesses that we don't have the life that we should. I see this over and over again in so many of the clients I have, the business friends that I have, that we're just working so hard. So I have brought in today someone who is a remarkable entrepreneur. He's really created a global following, is a global brand. He is a transformation expert. And it's all about how you can lead the life that you want. And he's working with some of the top, pop stars, celebrity billionaires, and he's here for you. You don't want to miss this on how you can have the life that you want. Stay tuned.
Ordinary success? No way. You want amazing, remarkable, exceptional breakthroughs. Dig deep, think bold, drive hard, watch yourself soar beyond your dreams. AESNation.com.
Kute, I am so excited to have you here. You and I met at Joe Polish's Genius Network, and I was blown away with all the things. You and I were brainstorming. We just met that time, and all what you have done in your life. So I wanted to share that with our audience. Because as I was saying in the introduction, life is so important, and you're helping so many people build great lives. So first of all, thank you for joining us.
Great to be here, man. I've been looking forward to it very much, John. It's a real pleasure.
Well, you've got some great life lessons that I want you to share, but you shared with me, just before we turned on the camera, I didn't know this part, that you came to the States.
Yes.
With not a lot of money. And I'm looking at, I know how successful you are, and you've done a great job of transforming your life. Give us a little bit of backstory of how you got to where you are now.
Yeah, I came to the States, 18 or so plus years ago. I forgot exactly, but I came with nothing. I came with 2 suitcases, and when in the country had $1,200 in my pocket. And my passion was to go into the personal growth field. It wasn't even a job, it wasn't a career, it was a calling. So cut long story short, my father's a minister and a healer and has all these churches. I was supposed to take over his churches, and my life was set out for me. But I knew that wasn't my path. I knew the truth in my heart. I had a different destiny. And I think so often we fall into patterns of living someone else's life or following society's expectations or someone else's expectations. So when I had the courage to leave everything behind, I was 17, I decided to come to the US and won a green card in the lottery and showed up and landed in America. And that was amazing. And I found myself in a tiny 300, 400 square foot apartment, paying $250 a month, knowing no one, crying my eyes out, and struggling, really, really struggling. I mean, I was broke. I had nothing. I literally dragged a mattress off of the street that someone threw out and slept on that. And I was so broke. Spending $1 on food was like a major business decision. I would go to the Vons, John, and pretend to go shopping, right? And put all this food in my shopping cart, eat the loaf of bread, and walk out. So that's how poor I was. So it was challenging times, and I remember what really made a difference for me was being in my room at that point and feeling like I was in the right place. I was doing the right thing, and I was doing multi-level. I was, hustling, selling things, and nothing seemed to be working. And I remember moaning and groaning and complaining and being mad at life, being mad at God, being mad at my father because I didn't feel he was supporting me. I felt like I felt like God owed me something. I felt like the government, people owed me something. And I started to realize how entitled I was and how truly ungrateful I was in that moment. How I was given so much, but I was stuck in my own entitlement mentality, in my own victimhood, so to speak. And the shift happened for me when I gave that up. I realized no one was going to show up at my doorstep and give me $1 million, and no one was Oprah wasn't going to come and knock on my door and discover me. If I wanted to lose weight, no one was going to show up and go to the gym for me and exercise for me. If anything was going to shift, I was going to have to shift it. So my life really shifted in that moment where it clicked in that I had to give up entitlement and really take responsibility for my life. But in doing that, there was a fear for me because I realized if I really give up this entitlement, victimhood, and take responsibility, I actually have to own my power. And I have no one else to blame anymore. I have no more excuses. It's on me. But it shifted everything.
No, Kute, I mean, yeah, no, it really does. And it's amazing, when we look at this and we think about it, is, all of us have these ups and downs. I mean, it would be nice if we just had this straight line up and, no wobbles along the way, but life intrudes constantly. And, you won the lottery getting the green card here, but it didn't come with, the full package of the American dream. And I want to go because I think this is such an important lesson. This is one for all of us, as entrepreneurs, as business owners. It's so powerful once we take responsibility. I mean, it can be, I don't know about you, but, business owner, I've had a few times where things aren't working out. Sometimes I think I'm manic depressive, and then, we'll have some crisis type and then things are going great. But it's very easy to be that victim, no matter where you are in life. Taking responsibility for life. I mean, working with, you are one of the top transformation coaches, life coaches out there. There's so many people that are struggling with this one because it's so easy to blame someone else and give them the power. I mean, this is kind of almost a universal thing.
It's so easy to blame because then we don't have to take responsibility. So two things I've seen with my clients, with myself, with those I work with, is the sense of when we give our power to those outside of us, it's the sense of like, life's happening to me, things are happening to me, that we're at the effect of life. And the reality is we're not, we are creators. But the specific statement that I constantly see, and it shows up in different ways with people I work with, is a sense of we often say to ourselves, whether we realize it or not, I'm upset because the government's this way. I'm upset because the weather. I'm upset because John is doing X. I'm upset because my wife said XYZ, or I'm upset because my employee did XYZ. So what we effectively do in that moment is we put the power in whatever we're making responsible for. So we're depending on X shifting or XYZ shifting in order for us to be free. And that way of thinking has to shift, where rather than because what we end up doing is spending our time and our focus trying to shift the other person so they can show up a different way so we can be happy, rather than taking the responsibility and shifting our own perception, giving up our own expectations, our own judgments within ourselves, and focusing on what's in here. And I think that's what to realize we always have control over and choice over how we respond to life and people and moments and situations. And there's a responsibility. There's no excuses in that.
Well, I know, Kute, one of the things that happened to me that was really, this was a big turning point for me. I had sold a business for many millions of dollars and stayed on an earn-out, and I was CEO of that division, and we were doing acquisitions. And the first year I loved it, and afterwards I didn't. It was supposed to be kind of a merger of equals, and if you're not sure, it's an acquisition, who's running it type thing. Right. And so, and I was so frustrated, and it was one of those, I put the blame on the other person. I can still remember talking with my wife about it. And, financially we were fine. It didn't make any sense to do that. And it says, why are you doing that? You have options. And it's, as soon as I did that, it was so freeing. It was freeing on the other side too. I mean, we parted as friends, and it was really amazing. And And I think, I want to encourage everyone to think about, in their own life, that taking responsibility, it's not somebody else's. We're universally responsible for this.
Yeah, absolutely. That's the foundation of freedom, and it's the key to owning our power. That we always have a choice. Each moment is constantly giving us choices, moment to moment to moment to moment to moment to moment to moment. So, yeah. And I think one of the other things too, as entrepreneurs, in dealing with life and people, is taking responsibility for our thoughts and our attention. And observing where is one of the key questions that I found that's really helped me stay focused and present amidst the craziness of life and building a business and traveling is noticing, where's my attention right now? Because many times our attention starts wandering into all sorts of stories and patterns and places, into the past, into the future, what I should have done, what could have done, why did I make that decision, why did I sell that, why I should have done that better. Or we start going into the future, how am I going to make payroll, what's going to happen to my business, and before you know it, we spin ourselves into a negative future fantasy, or we're stuck in the projection in the past, and we're not fully present, productive in this moment. So I think noticing what our moment is a really powerful thing. Simply by asking ourselves, where's my attention right now? Focusing on the breath, connecting to this moment, looking around, being present.
Well, and as we talk about being present, one of the things that I've found that was so important, and this is your second kind of life lesson, Kute, that is, kind of that shift in success. And I always talk about it as being successful on purpose, kind of define it, because success means different things to different people. And and this is something you've helped your fellow entrepreneurs be really, make major changes. Tell us a little bit about this. If we're going to have a great life, why this is so important.
Yeah, a lot of my clients are very successful, run some are billionaires, globally known. They have a lot in the world. They've gotten a lot. And what I observed is many times when they came to me, you might get everything you thought you wanted, but still not be happy. You may get everything you thought you wanted based on who you thought you were, but still not feel like this is truly aligned. So true success isn't simple. It requires a paradigm shift. Isn't simply about what you attain or the goals you attain, even though that's definitely a part of it and it's great. But I believe that, at some point you might get everything you think you wanted, but at some point you reach a point of dissatisfaction. So to me, real success is really about who you become in the process of building, who you become in the process of building your company and the pursuit of the goal itself. I believe that dreams are actually evolutionary in nature, that they will take you on the journey, because at some point we all die. We will all face death, and nothing that we build, nothing that we create, I tell my clients this, nothing you build, the billions of dollars, the Grammys, the Oscars, what have you, you will not take any of that with you. Even Tutankhamun, who had all this gold, I was in Cairo, I went to the Cairo Museum, and there was all this gold, and I realized even Tutankhamun, the pharaoh, could take none of it with us. So we take none of it with us other than what we give and what we contribute and who we become in the process. So the question I like to ask people is, who are you becoming? On a daily basis, who are you becoming? Are you growing? Are you evolving? Are you constantly stretching yourself and becoming the most authentic version of yourself and learning lessons along the way? Because I believe that then no matter what, you are succeeding.
Well, and it's so interesting because so often when we first get started in business, it's all these material things that we want to do. And I was in Egypt not that long ago. I went to the Valley of the Kings, and I saw a lot of the tombs, and there were a lot of riches there, but it didn't look like anybody took anything. So I mean, yeah. And so.
Growing and evolving, then what are we doing? So I always ask my clients too, sometimes success can be a trap, that we do something over and over and over and over and over again, and it works, but we keep doing it. So we keep doing it, but the doing of it actually keeps us in a comfort zone, keeps us from growing, keeps us from the next level of expressing ourselves. So I like to ask anyone listening in and my client, what's scary for you? What's scary? What scares you? What's the next level of seeking to happen through you? Because sometimes we create something and it becomes a trap. It becomes the prison of success, I call it. And sometimes the life we end up creating, or the structures we've ended up creating, is actually too small for who it is that we're seeking to become. So I think success is constantly being in the process of reinventing ourselves and being at our own edge and going where it's scary.
Well, and I think one of the most important parts is that reinventing ourselves. I mean, we have this opportunity to reinvent ourselves and really define our own success. And, there's so many. I mean, you have a great business. I have a great business. We're in a meeting together, 50 great business people. And, each of us has a different success. There's not, that we're working toward in our lives. And this is where, if you don't define it, that you don't make that conscious decision that you're going to be successful on purpose, boy, what a missed opportunity for, a great quality of life.
Yeah. If we don't define it for ourselves, first, in order to define it, we have to know who we are.
Mm-hmm.
Really know who we are, not what we've been told we should be, but really know who we are. So for me, that's the foundation of knowing who you are. But if we don't define it, then there'll be no shortage of people, society, media, culture, parents, that will define it for us. So I think part of a successful life is really living life in your own way, living life in the most authentic way for you.
Well, let's move on. One of the things that I was so impressed with what you're doing, I've had a chance to look at a bunch of your work, and you are a big believer in adding value. And
For sure.
yeah, and this is one of the things that so many business people struggle with. I think you and I are aligned. I put out an awful lot of value to our clients and to prospective clients and really to the world in general. And you give all away, your best stuff. And, what I'd love to do is, we're kind of switch a little bit from life coaching to kind of business coaching here for a second, but why do you do that? I mean, so many business owners are so tight, they want to protect their best stuff and they're worried about it.
Yeah, I believe that for me, two things. It comes from the you could say a spiritual philosophy that I would say, to me, life is not about getting, it's about giving. And I believe on a spiritual level, not to get too woo-woo, but when I believe when I give, I open myself literally to the same level of receiving what I've given. So I've always felt like you can't outgive the universe. So I feel that when I give, what that does is it allows me to develop the relationship with my audience. And from that point, if they don't know me, in order for them to, let's say, use my services, they have to know me. In order for them to then move to the next level, they have to know me, they have to like me, they have to trust me, and then maybe they'll move into buying something. But I believe when I saw the shift in my work, it was when I added value, I gave away my best stuff, and I showed them. And as a result, my clients around the world got to experience shifts in their own lives as a result of my videos, my blogs, my writings, things I put out online. And as a result, the trust was built. So for me, building the trust with the client and developing the relationship became primary and of utmost importance for me, more than just how can I get a sale right now. It was about the long-term, you could say lifetime relationship with the client. And so everyone that comes to my events and comes to my seminars and uses my services, most of the people, let's say they come to Bali or they go to a 12-day event or a 5-day event, they've been in relationship with me for a while, and to me, it's a relationship. That's all I can say. I see my relationship with my clients not as a transaction, but as something sacred, that I, in some way, I'm in the coaching field, have the opportunity to serve another person's growth, another person's evolution. That's special. That's sacred.
Well, and this works in every business too. It doesn't have to be a coaching business. I mean,
absolutely.
Giving that value away, I mean, kind of results in advance, if you will. And, and you said it well. I mean, that know, like, and trust factor. This is so important because, there are so many people in the world. I mean, there's over 7 billion of us, trying to bring connections together so that we can have an impact, no matter whether you're selling widgets, you're a life coach, or you're doing professional services, whatever it is you're doing. We've got to start a conversation. And one of the things I see, Kute, it's so often, people are guarding their best stuff, and it's like, no, just put it out there, because really what you do, I mean, sharing that, people will resonate, you're nurturing relationships, they're going to go deeper with you, as you were saying, and that's the only way they're going to know whether they're right. The two of you are going to match up, and you've done that really brilliantly.
Yeah, it's really proving that what I have really works, and they get to experience that. But one thing it also did for me was, it moved me out of scarcity. You talked about guarding oneself. When I realized, okay, I'm going to give away my best stuff. At first, I was like, no, I'm not going to do that. They should pay for it. But then I thought, if they experience a result and their lives shift, and so many people's lives have shifted by watching my video, and they write to me, Kute, I don't know you, but I watch your videos, and their lives shift. Then the reality is, when they're ready for transformation, or when they're ready for your service, whatever it is, whether it's a plumbing service, a financial coaching service, who are they going to think of? Who do they have a relationship with that's also been positioned in their mind as an expert that they trust, that they're going to go to? So I realized that's what started happening too. So it moved me out of scarcity-based thinking, which opened me to the next level of abundance in the universe. But also it forced me to go, well, if I'm going to give away my best stuff, two things. People also then start thinking, if this is what he's giving away for free, what's going to happen if I pay the guy? What's going to happen if I actually pay and go to an event? What would happen then? So it kind of creates a whole nother level of value then. Then for me, what started happening was, it forced me to go, if this is my best stuff, then I'm going to have to create more best things, even better things. And it causes you as an entrepreneur to grow and evolve and become better, so to speak, and innovate. So that's what it did for me.
It did for me too. That's why I love that. I mean, it is, it's one of the things we have to keep on, the marketplace.
Keep on growing.
We got to grow, and we got to keep on raising the bar, that lifelong learning, innovation, and we can build some phenomenal businesses. And one of the things that you're doing that is really impressive, and let me the next segment is the book of the day. And what I'd like to do is I'm going to put up your webpage, and depending on when you're watching this podcast, it's in pre-order when we're recording, but it's going to be available. So I want everybody to reach out and get this book. You Are the One. And let me tell you, share with us what this is all about, and how a book can help us really live that life on purpose.
Yeah, the You Are the One book, which I'm really excited about. I have a pre-copy right here. Is my first book, and it's really about helping you discover your purpose, discover the real you, find the real you, and love fully. It's really about helping you let go of self-sabotage, find inner peace, be yourself fully. And it's framed around, I started taking my clients, as I mentioned, on these crazy wild journeys to India. I started taking a lot of high-level entrepreneurs, visionaries to India. What I would do is I created a 14-day journey, and I take away your passport, take away your money, you'd have a backpack, a pair of clothes, and I take you through a 14-day immersion.
I wanted to stop for a second, Kute, because I know you do this, and I'm just thinking, one of the biggest trips I ever did, I went 14 days through the Grand Canyon on kayaks and rafts and so on, but I still had my wallet, didn't need a passport, and I had guides and a whole bunch of support people there, and it was a heck of a lot of fun. I want our fellow entrepreneurs are kind of wondering, okay, why would I give up my wallet, my passport, and go to a country that I'm a little uncomfortable, because most of us haven't traveled there, or if we have, we've done it just on quick business trips. And that sounds like that might be a little too much. I mean, why would I give you all this stuff here?
Yeah, by the way, I make you sign your will in case you don't come back. Letters to everyone in your life in case you don't come back. And it's really about freedom. It's about finding freedom. A lot of us, we think we're free, but the moment you take away someone's, gadgets or iPhone or identity, we're often so identified with being a certain person, and we live inside of a prison sometimes of who we think we are. So what I do is I create an experience and a process that really challenges people and stretches people and pushes our buttons, so that it really forces you to find the real freedom that's inside of you, so that you can come back into the real world and be free no matter what's going on outside. That zone that someone like a Mandela accessed, where he was put in prison, and it didn't matter what his external circumstances were, he was free. To really get to that state where your freedom isn't dependent on what someone says, or whether someone responds, or a phone call, or the weather, or the economy, is what the journey is about. So I did 19 of these journeys in 6 years, one-on-one. They were intense, they were amazing. And so the book, You Are the One, is really a distillation of it takes the reader on these journeys, since not everyone can go, and I share some of the best lessons about what it takes to really transform yourself, what it takes to uncondition yourself, what it takes to let go of the past pain, self-sabotage, what it takes to find your true purpose, and love fully and live fully and leave a profound legacy in life.
Well, and I want everybody to think about, the impact that what would happen, without all the electronic stuff that we have. I'm just looking around at all the electronic stuff that I have here, and all the tools.
Who you really are.
Yeah.
Like, who are you really? Because we think we're free. We think, oh, this is who I am. But what I really like to do is I ask people the question, who are you really? Like, really? Beyond what you've been told, beyond what your parents have told you, beyond what society, who are you really? And I believe when you access that, that's freedom.
Well, it's really powerful, and you get to know who you are, and that helps you have clarity on, for us as fellow entrepreneurs, how do you design that business to support the quality of life that you want, so that you can live the life that you want to live as who you are. And no, it's amazing. Let me go to the next segment, which is all about resources, and I want to pull up the website on this Boundless Bliss. And this is in Bali. You're doing something. Tell us what this is.
Yeah, I created, a lot of people started asking me after I started doing these India journeys, take a group to India. And I thought, I don't want to take a group to India. It's just so intense. So I created a 12-day intensive leadership training, where I take visionaries and those that really want to make a difference in the world, feel they have gifts to give. And I created a 12-day experiential immersion training in India for leaders and visionaries, where I create a unique process. I use Bali as the backdrop, the seminar room without walls, and I design processes and experiences and situations and orchestrate a hero's journey that helps you strip away your limitations, strip away the fears, strip away whatever it is that's blocking you or that's in the way of you moving and expressing the next level. And it's designed to catapult you forward in your life in terms of living your gift and your life's purpose. So it's an amazing journey, which I do twice a year in Bali. It's like we go into the unknown, John, and in the unknown, you have to face yourself. And then it's the hero's journey. Then you face yourself, then you come back into life. But the whole goal is not just a vacation where you go to escape yourself, but to face yourself, to find yourself, so that you can come back into the world and really give your gift and make a difference and build a business and really add value to society and your community around.
No, this is fantastic. Let me go to the last segment, which is the key takeaways. And I'll tell you, I mean, these are really powerful. I'm just amazed at what you've been able to accomplish. And I shouldn't be, because of the lessons that you've deployed. And, number one, you talked about taking responsibility for your life. And it's just so powerful. And so many of us, even if we're very successful, it's easy to still be a victim. And, if we take responsibility, it's amazing what we can accomplish. So that's number one. Number two is shifting that success, our definition of success. And it's not material. It's not just building a great big business. It's going ahead and really being clear on who we are and designing that life on purpose. And the third was a business lesson that you have been just so generous. We talked about gratitude. And there's so much in this world. Once you start seeing the world of abundance, it's amazing what you can do by sharing and what comes back to you.
Yeah.
And lastly, the relationships. I mean, it's just the relationships themselves are so powerful. I mean, this is why we were together at a mastermind group. Yeah. We know, we're working, the privilege of working with so many successful people and the difference we can make. So I encourage everybody to go aesnation.com. We'll have the transcript, the show notes, the links. Go out and get Kute's new book. I mean, it is, this is stuff that we're, as business people, we're all so busy doing it, that we don't take the time to have this outrageous life that we've been blessed, we're privileged to have, and what a difference we can make in the world. Kute, thank you for making such a big difference.
Thank you for having me. It's been a real joy, John. Real joy and pleasure.
Well, let's go out there and lead the life We should. We wish you the best of success.
Exceptional, remarkable breakthroughs. AESnation.com.